The Chicago Bears have secured probably the best hire of the NFL offseason before the offseason even begins, with hiring Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson as their next head coach. The real question for me, though, is whether or not Johnson will succeed by correcting the team as a whole rather than just quote unquote fixing the offense. Now, it's pretty clear that this Bears offense needs a ton of assistance when it comes to being more efficient in the run game, an actual effective passing game, and just overall uniformity, discipline, lack of penalties. You name it, the Bears offense needs help with it. But the real question to me is can the Bears stay consistent on defense? Now, a lot of people have so many negative things to say about former Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, but one thing I want to talk about is his ability to coach the defensive side of the ball. Now, we see a lot of these offensive gurus go places like Sean McVay, like Nick Sirianni, and they go and they coach the offense, and the defensive side of the ball is completely left up to quote unquote chance. Now we see that the ones that succeed on the offensive side of the ball hire a confident, capable defensive coordinator. And that is going to be Ben Johnson's number one task, in my opinion. I think it's kind of a given that with the talent of Caleb Williams, his play will improve. Not only will he progress because he's seen NFL defenses now for 17 games, but the talent and his ability to work hard is going to be the driving factor behind his improvement. Of course, Ben Johnson is going to plus up this offense. I have no doubt in that. They have capable guys all across the field. We have DJ Moore. He is a very talented wide receiver. Is he top 10? Probably not, but in a system like Ben Johnson has, he definitely could be. I mean, look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nobody really was chalking him up as a potential top 10 wide receiver when he was drafted, but the way that Ben Johnson uses him as a slot guy was phenomenal. I think DJ Moore can play that same role. In the run game, they've got the bell cow back. DeAndre Swift had over 250 carries this year, I believe, and he'll be able to do that again. He's on contract for next year. One of the questions is Keenan Allen, obviously in the latter half of his career, is an unrestricted free agent. I don't think the Bears are going to bring him back. He showed a lot of age this season, and I'm not so sure that his price tag is going to be something that the Bears are willing to swallow when re-signing him. So I think Keenan Allen's out the window. That's going to be the big question on offense is can the Bears find a deep threat either in free agency or in the draft? Now, the last thing, but certainly not least, is a capable Bears offensive line. We've seen over the last 3 to 4 seasons, the offensive line for the Chicago Bears has underperformed season after season, despite the Bears investing a lot in solving that position group. I think with Ben Johnson's system, whether it be the system that he brings over from the Lions or doing something like he said, where he's building a system from the ground up surrounding Caleb Williams and his talent, I do not think that the Bears offensive line is going to be that big of a factor in whether or not the team succeeds. Ben Johnson will develop a system that builds around the Bears' talent on the offensive line and what they're good at. So, all that being said, basically what I'm trying to say is Ben Johnson has proven to us over and over and over again, he is a capable offensive coach. He knows how to get quarterbacks, running games, wide receivers, some kind of chance to perform at a very high level. And so I'm not questioning that. What I am questioning though is as a first-time head coach, can he find somebody to pair with him and become a really solid, well-balanced team? And that requires a very experienced and talented defensive coordinator. And there's one person that I'm looking at in the field of defensive coordinators that's available right now that has shown me and a lot of other people in the National Football League that he can coach defense, and that's Dennis Allen, the former head coach and defensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints. A lot of people have tons of negative stuff to say about Dennis Allen after he's been the head coach for New Orleans over the last couple of years, but I am here to tell you right now Dennis Allen can coach defense. When he took over the Saints defensive coordinator job in 2015, he had an atrocious defense. They were 32nd in the league in scoring defense. Then move on to 2016, 31st in scoring defense. But from there, it was pretty much all positive. The Saints from 2017 to 2023, where Dennis Allen was either the defensive coordinator or the head coach of this team, here's where the Saints ranked in scoring defense: 10th, 14th, 13th, 5th, 4th, 9th, 8th. Now, this season was a little different. The Saints kind of fell apart holistically, and this is due to them continuously swiping the credit card and pushing salaries further and further down the line. When Drew Brees was in town 3 or 4 years ago, you had a ton of guys like Michael Thomas, Marshawn Lattimore, who got these massive contract extensions to stay with the team and stay competitive, but the guaranteed money, the money that had to be paid, just kept being pushed onto the back end, and the Saints finally started to suffer the consequences of that this season. The team was not nearly as good as they were over the past 5 or 6 seasons, so that's why this year the Saints had the 19th scoring defense. But I think given the talent and the age of a lot of these guys on the defensive side of the ball, including one of the Saints' best players in history, Cam Jordan, who is now in his mid-30s, this was a good season for the Saints defense. It could have been a lot worse. So Dennis Allen, back to him, has shown not only can he coach defense, but he can also develop young talent. When you look at guys like Tyreek Stevenson or Gervon Dexter on the defensive line, these guys have been drafted in the last couple of seasons. They've shown a lot of promise and potential, and Dennis Allen could get in there and plus up this defense, who has a lot of its players still on contract. This is not a defense that needs rebuilding. Matt Eberflus showed you that this is not a defense that needs rebuilding. While he was the head coach this season, the Bears defense only allowed 20 points per game, which if that would have finished throughout the season, it would be the 7th best in the league. However, after firing Matt Eberflus, these are the last 5 games that the Bears gave, or these are the last 5 scores that the Bears gave up on defense. 38, 30, 34, 6, and 22. That's 26 points per game. The firing of Matt Eberflus cost the Bears an entire touchdown difference allowed on defense per game. I think that's extremely important when thinking about where this Bears team goes next season. And in my opinion, Ben Johnson is going to bring Caleb Williams into the new era of modern NFL football. But without a capable defense, we are going to see the Bears struggle. Where do you find that answer? I personally believe it's with Dennis Allen. He has shown he is more than capable throughout his career, both with New Orleans and with plenty of other teams. So with that being said, that is what I think about this Bears team going forward. Are they a playoff contender next year? I'm not so sure. There are a lot of question marks. I mean, can I guarantee a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in the last few years, who has a new coach, a new quarterback, potentially a inexperienced defensive coordinator, can I guarantee that that team will make the playoffs? No, but I think I could swallow that, stomach that opinion if there's a coach like Dennis Allen, a former defensive coordinator, a former head coach, somebody that can advise a first-time head coach in these massive roles. I think Dennis Allen is that guy. So I believe that the Bears will make the right decision when hiring a defensive coordinator and go with somebody experienced. My personal opinion, it's Dennis Allen. But regardless, Ben Johnson, best hire of the offseason. I think he's going to do a great job developing Caleb Williams and continuing to push the NFC North into becoming the best conference in the NFL. I think they already are. They're probably the most competitive, but there will be hands down no argument if the Bears end up being a really good football team. I think we saw 3 teams from the NFC North make the playoffs this year. Potentially, could there be 4? I definitely think so. So with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate this so much. I love talking about NFL football. So We'll see you next time.